I was 3 months pregnant when my husband was diagnosed with leukemia. I took every precaution to protect the pregnancy, hoping to use the umbilical cord blood to save his life. But then I saw his chat history with his childhood sweetheart. Xin getting pregnant was an accident. No one but you deserves to be the mother of my child. If it makes you unhappy, I'll make her get rid of it. I came home with the test report in hand. Fusinian pulled me into a hug. They announced it in the group chat. There's a class reunion tonight. I forced a smile. I've been so busy I haven't checked my phone. Ever since I found out about his condition, I'd spent the whole afternoon crying. Fusinian paused for a moment, resting his hand on my lower belly. Honey, you're pregnant and it's not convenient for you to go. Just stay home and rest. I'll go on my own and represent both of us. Everyone knew that Fusinian's wife was his college classmate, utterly devoted to him, obedient to an almost absurd degree. But that day, the doctor had told me Fusinian had leukemia. The only promising treatment was an umbilical cord blood stem cell transplant. I was only 3 months pregnant. Even if we scheduled a C-section at 8 months, we still had 150 days to wait. There was no telling if Fusinian would hold on that long. Thinking of this, I leaned into him coquettishly. The first trimester is over now. It's past the danger zone. It'll be fine. Every minute and second ahead was precious. I wanted to be by his side. The smile on Fusinian's face cooled, and the arm around me tensed slightly. Xin, you're so insistent on going. Is it because of Suyoayu? I hadn't heard that name in years. I froze for a second. Back in college, Fusinian was the famously aloof campus heartthrob. The line of girls chasing him stretched from the cafeteria to the restrooms. The most popular of all was his childhood sweetheart Suyoayu. Beautiful from a wealthy family and as warm and fiery as a flame, Suyoayu had pursued Fusinian relentlessly for years. At 22, she'd taken a gamble and showed up in a wedding dress to propose to him. That day, I'd foolishly joined the crowd cheering them on. Kiss her. Kiss her. But Fusinian ignored Suyoayu entirely. He pulled me out of the crowd and confessed, Xin, kiss me. Caught completely off guard, he'd stolen my first kiss, and I'd run away flustered. Suyoayu had left the country soon after, married a Chinese American, and stopped pestering Fusinian for good. 3 months later, I'd said yes to Fusinian's pursuit. After all, who could say no to a handsome, rich, and devoted man? I just never expected that 6 years later, Suyoayu would be back. Fusinian's accusation threw me off. She's back? I had no idea. A hint of mockery tinged his smile. My wife has learned to be two-faced, hasn't she? You knew perfectly well this party is for her. Otherwise, why would your eyes be all red from crying? I defended myself, hurt. I did cry, but it wasn't because of her. Then what was it about? I choked up, unable to tell him the truth about his cancer diagnosis. Just then, Fusinian's phone rang. He walked a few steps away to answer it. The room was so quiet that Suyoyu's loud laugh drifted clearly to my ears. Sinian, what's up with the class monitor? He planned a reunion the second I landed. I was gonna drop by your place for dinner. And maybe hang out with you a little too. She was still just as outspoken, the very thing Fusinian used to hate most about her. But this time, he took it all in stride. He walked even further away, the tips of his ears turning pink as he replied softly. I'll take you out for dinner another day then. Suyoayu giggled. Is your wife coming tonight? Xin? She probably won't come. Suyoyu's laughter stopped. Bring her. I want to see her. When we walked into the private room, Suyoayu was surrounded by a crowd of people. The room went quiet for a moment. She turned her head. Her skin was fair and smooth. Her curly hair swept over one shoulder, and her vintage red lips curved into a bewitching smile. Amid the cheers and teasing, she and Fusinian hugged each other. I was pushed to the edge of the crowd, my white sneakers stepped on several times. That polite hug lasted a very long time. If it weren't for dinner, from the looks of it, they would have hugged forever. Finally, Suyoayu gave Fusinian a light punch. Hugging me so tight? Aren't you afraid your wife will get jealous? Only then did Fusinian remember I was behind him. He nudged me forward. Xin, why are you hiding in the back? Can't you be a little more generous like Yoayu? Yoayu looked me up and down and shook her head. Shinshin, after all these years you still like white dresses? But I have to tell you, your skin is so rough now, and you've broken out. It really shows your age. Dressing like this just makes you look like you're trying too hard to be young. She was right. Severe morning sickness, plus worrying about Fusinian's constant low fever, meant I hadn't had a full night's sleep in ages. Before I could say anything, Yoayu stuck her tongue out at Fusinian. Oops, looks like your wife is mad. You know me, Sinian. I always say whatever's on my mind. Fusinian's eyes followed the tip of her tongue and he swallowed hard. It's fine. I was furious. I stroked my belly and spoke up. I can't help it, Yoayu. My skin's gotten worse ever since I got pregnant. The smile froze on Suyoyu's face. In an instant her eyes welled up with tears. Fusinian yanked me back sharply. Shinshin, what is wrong with you? You know, you can't stand hearing the word pregnant, and you deliberately say it to upset her? I was completely confused. As everyone chimed in, I found out that Suyoayu had gotten divorced. Her ex-husband had gotten his mistress pregnant. She'd shared all about it in the group chat, but I'd been so worried about Fusinian's health these days that I hadn't checked the group messages. The unfair accusation made me angry. Fusinian, I'm pregnant with your child, not her ex-husband's. Why would that upset her? Suyoyu looked up sharply. Tears rolled down her perfectly made-up face, big and heavy. Just like that day she'd worn the wedding dress and been rejected by Fusinian. Tragic and determined. She sighed. Fusinian, you told me back then that you chose Shinshin because she was more obedient than me. So this is how your obedient wife welcomes an old classmate back? Fusinian pulled me outside the private room. Shinshin, I'll have the driver take you home. He hadn't wanted me to come in the first place. But after that phone call from Suyoayu, he dragged me along to the dinner. I hadn't even sat down for a minute, and now he was sending me home again. He didn't even care that I hadn't eaten anything yet. He was too busy scolding me. Everyone's been trying so hard to cheer Yoayu up, and you have to go and hurt her feelings. I defended myself. I didn't. She was the one who was rude first. Enough. Yoayu speaks her mind, she doesn't mean any harm. But you're still holding a grudge just because she used to have a crush on me? Shinshin, I married you. You're Mrs. Fu now. What more could you possibly want? What more could I want? I just wanted him to live. Tears spilled down my face against my will, but he waved me away in annoyance and turned his head. As the driver opened the car door for me, one of Suyoye's best friends ran out looking for Fusinian. Snatches of their conversation drifted over. Fusinian, it's not just her ex-husband cheating that made Yoayu get divorced. The main reason is, she never forgot about you. Fusinian was silent for a few seconds, his voice heavy with regret. It's a shame. I'm already married. The car drove away. Didn't look back. In all our years together, Fusinian had never spoken to me so harshly. Seeing me crying non-stop, the driver whispered, Madam, Mr. Fu hasn't been feeling well lately. His temper is bound to be a little short. Yes, he was sick. But even so, thinking about Suyoayu still made my chest feel tight and heavy. When we were still some distance from home, I got out early and decided to walk the rest of the way. 10 minutes later, I realized someone was following me. I walked faster and called Fusinian at the same time. He'd been drinking, and his reply was lazy. Shinshin, I know you're upset about Yoayu, but if you're gonna throw a fit, at least come up with a better excuse. You're pregnant, you don't have the figure or the looks. Why would anyone follow you? Suyoyu's snort of laughter came through the line too. The call was hung up. It suddenly hit me. I, who had once been his white moonlight, had turned into a boring, washed-up housewife. The police escorted me home. When Fusinian showed up again, it was already 10 o'clock the next morning. He came over to kiss my cheek like he always did. Casual as ever. Last night the guys insisted on going to a bar. We all drank too much and crashed at the hotel. Neither of us mentioned Suyoayu, pretending everything was fine. I turned away and picked up the clothes he'd thrown on the sofa. An ultra-thin condom fell out. He froze mid-step. It must be the guys pranking me. Don't worry, honey. I'll give them a piece of my mind later. Fusinian changed clothes, touched his forehead, and took a cold tablet from the table. My heart clenched. I was afraid he'd ask about the test results. But he seemed to have forgotten all about it. The joy of reuniting with Suyo had made him ignore his discomfort. So that's how it is. Love really can be a painkiller sometimes. Before he left, Fusinian glanced at my cotton nightgown. Honey, maybe switch up your style. Nightgowns this modest ... They're kind of a turn-off. I thought to myself. It wasn't that he had no appetite. He was just full from eating elsewhere. He had no idea I had a picture on my phone that Suyo had sent me the night before. She was wearing a black lace nightgown. A man's hands were tearing open a small foil packet. The packaging was exactly the same as the one now lying on the sofa. The ring on his hand was exactly the same as Fusinian's wedding band. That evening, when Fusinian came home, I greeted him in a peony-patterned nightgown. I'd picked it out that afternoon with the aunties who dance in the square. I'd always been obedient. If he wanted me to change my style, I'd change it. Fusinian stared at me, dumbfounded. He was already drunk and now he almost threw up. I thoughtfully warmed him some milk laced with 2 sleeping pills. When he was fast asleep, I picked up his phone. I tried the password twice. Sure enough, he'd changed it. I didn't blame him. I knew relationships needed boundaries. So I gently picked up his finger and used his fingerprint to unlock it. That day, his chat history with Suyo went on, page after page. Fusinian said he'd been young and foolish back then, mistaking the obedient girl for the right one. It wasn't until Suyo left the country that he realized the one he really loved was her fiery spirit. Suyo sent a smiling bean emoji. You say you love me, but you're having a baby with her? Fusinian rushed to state his position. Shinshin getting pregnant was an accident. Believe me, I took precautions every time. Yo, no one but you deserves to be the mother of my child. If it makes you unhappy, I'll make her get rid of it. Fusinian had always been a man of action. At breakfast the next morning he said he'd booked me an appointment at a private hospital for a checkup. I refused. I just had a prenatal checkup. The baby is perfectly fine. Fusinian ruffled my hair. Be good. This hospital is more professional. I have time today, so I'll come with you in person. Otherwise, you'll be jealous of other women whose husbands go to their appointments with them. Fusinian had only taken over the family company for half a year. He was swamped with work and could barely catch his breath. I'd been understanding, so I'd gone to all my prenatal appointments alone. Seeing how insistent he was, I agreed. And then, just as I'd expected, Fusinian told me the fetus had some abnormalities, and for safety's sake I needed to have an abortion. After seeing their chat history the night before, I'd talked myself down all night. I told myself, Shinshin, why cling to this baby? It's not like I'm the one who needs the umbilical cord blood. But when the baby's own father made it clear he didn't want him, my heart still ached unbearably. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I grabbed Fusinian's hand and pressed it to my belly. Honey, what if they got it wrong? Don't rush to get rid of him. Can we go to another hospital for a second opinion? Talk to your parents about it? Fusinian hesitated for a few seconds. Only a few seconds. He sighed and pulled me into his arms. Honey, it's not that I don't want him. He just wasn't meant to be ours. Let's not tell your parents about this. There's no point getting their hopes up for nothing if we're just going to terminate it anyway. When I'd first seen the 2 lines on the pregnancy test, I'd wanted to tell my in-laws right away. Fusinian had suggested waiting until the 3-month mark. Now that the 3 months were up because of Suyo, he'd changed his mind. For love, he was willing to give up the very thing that could save his life. I cried silently. Fusinian kissed my cheek gently. Don't be sad. We're still young. We can have other babies. He had no idea. Once this baby was gone, he would never have another chance to have children. Fusinian was still running a fever. His lips were warm. But they could no longer warm my heart. A few minutes later, I nodded obediently. After all, I was an obedient wife. But this obedient wife never would have guessed. The day of the surgery, Fusinian picked up Suyoayu and brought her along. Honey, Yoayu was worried about you. Having another person here to keep you company makes me feel better too. But I didn't feel better, because I happened to overhear their conversation. Suyoayu asked Fusinian, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Sinian, did you drive your wife's car here? Her car is so pretty. I want to mess around with you in her car. Probably afraid I'd hear Fusinian cut her off. Suyoayu kept coquettishly pressing. Didn't you notice? I'm wearing black stockings today. Please. Fusinian replied immediately. Okay. The abortion went smoothly. This baby had come quietly, and left just as lightly. No one would grieve but his mother. After I woke up from the anesthesia, Fusinian drove me home. After drinking the brown sugar congee Sister Jo the housekeeper made, I fell back asleep. At 10 o'clock that night, Fusinian came home, his face flushed. He had a fever again, probably from exhaustion. I gave him fever reducers, mixed into milk laced with sleeping pills as usual. Watching him drift off drowsily, I went downstairs. From under the seat of my car, I pulled out a voice recorder. Even though I'd braced myself for it, hearing the sounds coming from it still made me shake with rage. I had to admit Suyoayu really knew how to keep things interesting. So much so that Fusinian sighed. If I'd known how good you were, why would I have settled for the obedient one? But the first time I'd given myself to him, he'd held me and cried with excitement, saying that having me in his life made death feel like nothing to fear. Now he was giving his all to another woman. I put the recorder away. I also found the gift Suyoayu had left for me. It was the bag from my prenatal checkup at the private hospital yesterday. Every single report showed that my baby was perfectly healthy. And tucked inside the bag was a torn pair of black stockings. Suyoayu really knew how to twist the knife. My phone pinged. I looked down. Suyoayu had posted on her moments, and she'd tagged me specifically. The photo was taken inside my car. 2 pairs of hands intertwined, pressed against the fogged-up window. You could tell just how heated things had gotten inside. Hanging from the rearview mirror was a small osmanthus soap I'd hung in my car myself, with my name carved into it. Below the photo, her group of catty friends were already commenting. One person's getting an abortion, and the other's making a baby? Girl, some people are laughing while others are crying. You already hooked him that fast? Suyoayu replied with a sunglasses emoji. Hooked him ages ago. I lifted my hand and commented, ages ago? Did you get to touch him when he was still in diapers? Sure enough, Suyoayu ran to tattle. The next morning, after Fusinian checked his phone, his face darkened. He looked at me helplessly. Honey, you just had an abortion, and you have time to pick fights with Yoayu? Be reasonable. She just got divorced, she's fragile right now. I'm spending time with her to comfort her. So his wife had an abortion, and he didn't stay to take care of her, but he went out and comforted another woman with his body? I said nothing. Fusinian ran a hand through his messy hair. When I rejected her in front of all those people and confessed to you instead, it's been the talk of our circle ever since. Everyone says you're the winner at love. Have you ever thought about how humiliating it was for her to lose so badly? But when they did it in my car, did they ever think about how humiliating it was for me? He was getting worked up now, his face flushing. He swallowed a pill and went on. I was too young back then. I didn't know how to reject her gently. That's why she rushed into marrying just anyone. I'm partly responsible for her unhappy marriage. Is it so wrong of me to care about her a little? Do you have to make it sound so dirty? I almost laughed out loud. As if they were being so innocent. When he was tearing off her stockings, did he stop to wonder if she had athlete's foot? I retorted silently in my head. Seeing that I wasn't talking back, Fusinian's anger faded a little. Honey, be good. Focus on recovering, don't dwell on silly things. I'm exhausted every day. Can we not fight about this? I nodded. Okay, he really was exhausted. He'd spent all his energy on Suyoayu. He had no idea he had leukemia, that he was about to run out of time entirely. As his wife, I should be understanding. Seeing me back down, he pinched my cheek. Honey, I'm craving your scallion oil pork ribs. Make some for me to take to work. Okay. I frowned. But I just had surgery. Double quotes. He was already typing away on his phone. Have Sister Joe help you? Just don't touch cold water. How thoughtful of him. In the end, I obediently went to find Sister Joe. It was just an abortion after all. Fusinian was the one who was about to kick the bucket. If I didn't make it for him now, he'd never get to taste it again. But those ribs never ended up in his stomach. At 1 o'clock that afternoon, Suyo sent me a private message. They don't make authentic ones abroad. Sinian said yours are the best. Turns out his taste in food is better than his taste in wives. Right after, she posted a photo on her moments. He wouldn't take a single bite of the things I like. Anyone seeing it would think they were dirt poor. Suyo grinned at the camera like the cat that ate the canary. Fusinian was putting ribs onto her plate, and the lunchbox holding the scallion oil pork ribs sat on the table, resting on the scarf I'd knitted for him 6 years ago. The scarf he'd once treasured like a prize was now nothing more than a table mat. This time I didn't comment. I didn't have time to. I called someone to come detail my car, specifically telling them, "There's a pair of torn black stockings in there, like a dog chewed them up. Make sure you throw them away." I also made an appointment with a lawyer, telling him to start secretly auditing Fusinian's assets. Over the next few days, Fusinian brought home piles and piles of supplements. Sister Joe beamed. "Look, madame, the master cares about you so much." I glanced at them. Maca, Epimedium, Deer Antler. "Sister Joe, these are for men. They're not for me." Sister Joe looked embarrassed. Fusinian also had Sister Joe make oysters and chives for him every day. Sister Joe even whispered to me, "The master is getting ready for your next baby." He was getting ready for his next life, more like. At first, the thrill of reunion had flooded him with dopamine, and he'd ignored his symptoms. These days he must have been feeling run down. But he didn't suspect he was sick. Naturally, he assumed he'd just been partying too hard with Suyo. That's why he was taking all those supplements. And then, as he was building himself up, on the last day of my post-abortion recovery, Fusinian suddenly had a nosebleed. Sister Joe yelped in fright. "Master, should we go to the hospital?" Fusinian waved a hand. "Probably just taking too many supplements. I'll eat lighter for a few days and it'll be fine." I looked up. On the white towel, there was a shocking patch of bright red blood. That day, Fusinian took one step closer to his grave. And I received the lawyer's investigation report on Fusinian's personal assets. Good news, the Fu family did have quite a fortune. Bad news, most of the assets were in my in-laws' names. The amount actually belonging to Fusinian was only around 5 million. If I got divorced, I'd get half of that. But I wanted more. Just when I was stuck, someone handed me exactly what I needed. Suyo asked to meet me at a cafe. That day, she was wearing a bright red dress, as radiant as a little sun. She took a sip of coffee and couldn't wait to speak. "Shin, you look so glum, and you're wearing that plain linen dress. People would think someone in your family died." She was spot on. Someone was about to die, alright. When I said nothing, she pushed her luck. "Oops, look at me, putting my foot in my mouth again. The one in your belly just died, didn't it? Shin, did you see the prenatal checkup bag I left for you? I'm actually impressed. How can you stand it for so long?" I still didn't speak. The smile faded from her face. She unlocked her phone and held it out to me. "Fusinian promised me a wedding. Tomorrow. I figured you'd want to come see it." The photo showed a perfect spot for an outing. It was filled with bright red roses and balloons floating everywhere. A few days earlier, Fusinian had asked me to find a place with nice scenery and a big enough lawn. He said he'd take me out to have fun once I finished my post-abortion recovery. Turns out, he used the place I picked to rekindle his old flame with Suyo. I tossed the phone back at her. "What's there to show off?" I sneered. "It's just a cheap little performance. As long as I don't agree to a divorce, even 100 weddings won't change the fact that he's my husband and mine alone." "And you? You've become the very thing you used to despise. You hated homewreckers more than anything, and now you are one." Suyo's face turned livid. "Aren't you supposed to be obedient and sensible? Aren't you good at putting up with things? What? Can't take it anymore?" I raised my hand and slapped her hard across the face twice. I'd had enough of holding back. Suyoyu didn't see it coming. She froze for a second, then shrieked and tried to hit me back. I dropped to the ground and burst into tears. Yoayu, I'm begging you. Don't take him away from me, please. He's my husband. I can't live without him. You said you didn't want me to have the baby and he made me get rid of it. He does everything you say. Just don't force him to divorce me, please. I'm begging you. I sobbed until my whole body went weak, collapsing on the floor and clutching the hem of her dress. The other customers in the cafe started murmuring, pulling out their phones to record. Suyoyu's face burned bright red. She shook me off violently. You're insane. She stormed off, furious. A waiter rushed over to help me up. I kept apologizing. I'm so sorry for causing a scene. Once I, the poor married woman driven to despair by a homewrecker, stepped outside the cafe. My best friend Yaya followed, holding up her phone. We got in the car. She snickered. Shin, that was such a good performance. I gave a faint smile. I felt confused myself. I wondered if Fusinian didn't have terminal cancer. Would I really have knelt on the ground like that, begging her to give him back, with Suyoyu coming at me so aggressively? I couldn't tell if I'd been acting just now, or if some of it was real. Yaya rewatched the video twice. What's so great about her anyway? She looks like bad luck for any man. What does Fusinian even see in her? He has leukemia, not blindness. I sighed. What can you do? Love makes people blind. Yaya clicked her tongue. Suyoyu obviously wants to make you mad, so you'll show up tomorrow and cause a scene. Of course I knew that. A couple of days earlier I'd gone through Fusinian's phone again. I'd seen Suyoyu say, you were supposed to be mine. Now I'm just your mistress. Sinian, it's not fair. I don't want to be the homewrecker everyone hates. She wanted to be his wife. Fusinian had only said he was sorry. Said he could give her anything except a marriage license. I don't love Shinshin anymore, but my parents like her. She's been so sensible all these years we've been married. And I just tricked her into getting an abortion. I can't think of any good reason to leave her right now. Suyoyu wouldn't let it go. But you said only I deserve to have your children. Fusinian had coaxed her. Yoayu, I know you want to be my wife, but you have to give me time. If you want a baby, you don't have to be married to have one. With no other choice, Suyoyu settled for a wedding instead, to make up for the regret from 6 years ago. Fusinian had agreed without hesitation. I knew Suyoyu hadn't given up. She was afraid things would drag on and go wrong. That's why she told me about the wedding. She wanted me to show up and ruin it. She also knew Fusinian liked me because I was obedient and sensible. If I showed up at their wedding and embarrassed him, I'd lose my place as Mrs. Fu naturally. Yaya looked at me worriedly. Shin, maybe we shouldn't go. I patted her hand. We were classmates. She invited us so nicely. The least I can do is go cause a little trouble. Yaya put her arm around me. Fine, I'll go with you. If she shits on us, we'll dilute it and throw it right back at her. We'll show everyone we're not pushovers. Yaya and I hid behind a tree. She snapped photos nonstop with her phone. Shin, the train on Su. Yo-Yo's wedding dress has to be 5 meters long, right? Looks like haute couture too. Damn, Fusinian really is willing to spend money on her. The atmosphere was lovely. Fusinian had invited lots of friends and classmates to witness it. Needless to say, they'd all been paid to keep quiet. The group chat and moments were still dead silent. No photos or videos had leaked out. To the sound of soft music, Suyoyu lifted her skirt and ran toward Fusinian, bouquet in hand. Sinian? She'd barely spoken when Fusinian took the bouquet gently from her. Yoayu, this time let me propose to you. He got down on one knee, looking up at the girl he loved reverently. Yo-Ayu, will you marry me? Fireworks burst overhead and cheers erupted all around. The surprise brought tears to Suyoyu's eyes. Kiss her. Kiss her. Just like 6 years ago, their friends started whooping and teasing. Holding the gift I'd brought for the happy couple, I pushed my way into the crowd. Kiss her. Kiss her. Call it a husband and wife sixth sense or whatever. Fusinian suddenly looked right at me. In that moment his eyes were wide with shock. The next second, just like 6 years ago, he ran toward me. Suyoayu froze where she stood. Fusinian, come back here. Fusinian paused. Yoayu, wait for me just a second. I looked at him with hurt, tear-filled eyes, then turned and ran off into the distance. I ran to where Yaya was waiting and collapsed on the ground. Fusinian held me tight. Shinshin, listen to me. It's not what you think. Yo is sick. I just wanted to make her wish come true, that's all. I blinked in surprise. She has a terminal illness? Fusinian frowned. Are you really that eager for her to die? She's just a little depressed, that's all. I almost laughed out loud. He was dying himself, and here he was busy making other people's wishes come true. I held his hand. If it's not that serious, then come home with me, okay? You're my husband. You can't marry someone else. It's just a ceremony, he said, patting me gently. Shinshin, you're the sensible one, right? 6 years ago, she ran to me in a wedding dress, and I confessed to you instead. Today I can't let her be rejected by me again. Don't be difficult, Shinshin. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. Okay. I smiled through my tears and handed him the divorce agreement I'd prepared long ago. I want a divorce. Fusinian stared at me, confused. Shinshin, what is this? Are you serious? Dead serious. A vein popped out on his temple. Shinshin, where else are you gonna find a man as good as me? I laughed. You think a liar like you is a good man? I only lied because I didn't want you to get the wrong idea. Come on, Shinshin. I'm just granting her one little wish. You don't have to take it so seriously. I shook my head. I'm taking it seriously, he snapped. Alright, that's enough. I'm giving you an out here. Don't push it. I pulled my hand free roughly. I can take the elevator. I don't need your out. I opened the box. So right, these are gifts for the two of you. There are 20 pairs of stockings inside, all different colors. Whichever pair you feel like tearing, have Sue. Yo, you wear that one. Shame you can't tear them in my car anymore though. I sold that dirty car already. Here are 10 boxes of ultra-thin condoms. Suyoayu said they're your favorite brand. I got you all different flavors. That should fix your lack of appetite, right? And all those male enhancement supplements you left at home? You're using your energy on someone else now. No reason I should keep making them for you, is there? I turned and walked away. Fusinian chased after me. Shinshin, how did you know, ... How do I know all the details? Go ask Suyoayu. All that time abroad must have rotted her brain. Every time she cheats on me with you, she sends me photos and videos. How else do you think I found this place today? Fusinian's brows furrowed tightly. He'd always said he liked women who were sweet, innocent, obedient, and sensible. He hated this kind of scheming from Suyoayu. He threw the box to the ground. A gust of wind blew, and the colorful stockings went tumbling across the green lawn. Next to them stood a furious Mr. Fu. All the guests stared, stunned. Fusinian ripped off his tie and threw his suit jacket onto the lawn too. We're going home. I turned and looked past his shoulder. Not far behind him stood Suyoayu. Her makeup was ruined from crying. That woman would never have guessed it. 6 years later, it ended the exact same way. She'd gotten her wish. I'd shown up to cause a scene. But whether I was obedient or not, Fusinian always chose me in the end. Fusinian hadn't expected me to be serious. No matter what he said, my answer was always the same 2 words: divorce. After 2 hours of stalemate, I got tired. I just sent Fusinian the 60-page PPT Yaya had put together. Sign it or I'll post all of this online. I had to hand it to Yaya, she was a pro. The PPT had precise screenshots, with links to videos and audio clips. It perfectly captured the helplessness and despair of a woman cheated on by her husband. When it got to the part about Fusinian tricking me into getting an abortion, Yaya had even added a little "May Buddha have mercy" note. If this got out, even the Buddhists online would come for Fusinian and Suyoayu. Fusinian finally realized I was really leaving him. He flipped through the divorce agreement. Then he laughed coldly. Shinshin, are you that desperate for money? 25 million? Why don't you just rob me? I smiled colder than him. I know you only have a measly 5 million in your name. At most I'd get 2.5 million. But you lied to me. Your so-called true love was fake. Since you cheated me, I want 10 times compensation. That's why I'm asking for 25 million. And I know you're capable of getting that money. Of course, if you're okay with me making all of this public, I can go through the normal legal process and just split that 5 million. Fusinia knew. If this got out, his family's company would be ruined. He flew into a rage. You say I lied to you? Haven't you lied to me too? What did I lie to you about? The baby. I always used protection. How did you get pregnant? You must have tampered with the condoms, didn't you? You was right. You just wanted to trap me with a baby. You're not nearly as obedient as you pretend to be. I didn't bother explaining. I just told him, well, at least the baby was real. Fusinian slammed the door and left. 3 days later, he came back to negotiate. He offered me 10 million. I didn't insist on my original number. After all, 10 times compensation was never realistic. In his parents' eyes, for a son stupid enough to cheat and let his mistress hand the evidence straight to his wife, he wasn't worth 25 million anyway. I blocked everyone in that social circle. Yaya, on the other hand, was buzzing around updating me with every bit of gossip she heard. Shinshin. Suyoyu is clinging to Fusinian now. Your former father-in-law was so mad he fired Fusinian from the company. Shinshin. You know why Suyoyu's ex-husband had a baby with someone else? Because Suyoyu can't have kids. Shinshin. Shinshin. I swear she was trying to wear my soul out with all that chatter. With her around, the 1-month divorce cooling-off period flew by. On the day we were to get our divorce certificate, I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau early. Fusinian looked like a wreck. He'd lost so much weight his clothes hung off him. But when he saw me, his eyes lit up. He hurried over. Honey, I was wrong, I jumped a little. What stunt was he pulling now? Mom told me. She and Dad were so desperate for a grandchild that when they came over, they poked holes in the condoms with a needle. Honey, I had you all wrong. It's fine. I kept my polite smile. I don't care either way. It's almost time. Let's go in. But Fusinian's feet were rooted to the spot. Honey, can we not get divorced? I sighed. Didn't you say only Suyoyu deserved to be the mother of your children? If we don't get divorced, your baby with her will be illegitimate. How sad for them. He panicked. That's not it, honey, listen. I just said that in the heat of the moment. Men don't mean the promises they make in bed. I believed that. With men like him, the second they got in bed, their mouths turned into nothing but garbage chutes. Actually, when I tricked you into getting the abortion, it wasn't all because of Suyoyu. It was because I misunderstood you. I thought you'd tampered with the condoms to get pregnant. I hated feeling like I couldn't control you. I just wanted to teach you a lesson. He had no idea how brutal that lesson would be, or that it would come back to bite him soon enough. Honey, be good. Come home with me, okay? I stepped back 2 paces. Fusinian. I was obedient because for a long time no one around me ever hurt me. But who told you a good girl has to put up with garbage? Let's get divorced. It's better for you, for me, and for Suyoyu. What's good for everyone is what's really good. Fusinian passed out. Right after we got our divorce certificates, he collapsed in the lobby. Blood was pouring from his nose. The ambulance arrived, but I didn't go with them. I didn't have time. I had 10 million yuan to spend. Yaya took me to get my hair done and buy new clothes. That night, she took me to a bar and ordered 10 male models. Before I could even so much as touch one, my former mother-in-law called. Shinshin. Sinian is sick. I'm begging you, please come see him. I'd always gotten along well with my former mother-in-law. When we were getting divorced, she'd messaged me saying her son was an idiot, and that she supported my decision. For old time's sake, I couldn't say no. In the hospital, Fusinian lay in bed, deathly pale. Honey, you came. He patted the spot next to him, inviting me to sit. Honey, is this karma? I have leukemia. I nodded. You've never been more lucid in your life. My former mother-in-law was crying beside him. I asked, what are the treatment options? It's already late stage. The doctors say we can manage it with medication for now. But the best option is an umbilical cord blood stem cell transplant. Mother Fu broke down, crying harder at that point. You worthless boy. We run a company, not a junkyard. You had a wife at home, and you had to go picking up trash outside. That was a good one. And not only did you pick up trash, you tricked Shinshin into getting an abortion. If you'd had half a brain, you wouldn't be stuck with no way out now. Fu Xinian closed his eyes in regret. I asked again, if someone got pregnant now, would it be in time? Fu Xinian's eyes flew open. Honey, you'd be willing to ... I cut him off. Don't you have Suyoayu? Mother Fu trembled with rage. Don't mention that woman. The second she heard we needed cord blood, she vanished. Later I found out the truth. She can't have kids at all. Shinshin, I know you still love Xinian. You two get remarried right away, and get pregnant as soon as you can. A day of marriage builds 100 days of affection. Please save Xinian, won't you? I shook my head. Mom, even if I could, do you think your son is up to it right now? I was afraid he'd drop dead right on top of me. Mother Fu fell silent, sheepish. Fu Xinian said he wanted to talk to me alone, and asked his mother to leave. Shinshin, let's try again. Okay? I was an idiot. Don't be mad at me for real. I promise once I'm better, I'll never make a mistake like this again. Double quotes TCH. He wasn't even dead yet, and he was already spouting nothing but lies. I was getting impatient. Fu Xinian, save your breath. I want nothing more to do with you. I don't want my name to appear on the tombstone of someone like you, listed as your wife. He tried to say more. But I was annoyed I hadn't even gotten to touch any of the 10 male models yet. So I rang for the nurse. Quick, take a look at him. He's talking so much. Is this the final rally before death? 3 months later, Fu Xinian passed away. His parents had wanted to take him abroad for treatment, but he refused. He said he wanted to go be with the baby he'd killed. Real dramatic stuff. But I didn't buy it for a second. That baby had been his chance at survival, and he'd thrown it away. He knew that ending the baby's life was the same as ending his own. Struggling to find a cure was useless. I figured in 30 years of life, that was probably the only smart decision Fu Xinian ever made. At the funeral, I saw Suyoayu. She was kneeling, kowtowing repeatedly to Fu Xinian's parents, begging them to spare her. Turns out the Fu family had run the Shu family business into the ground. Suyoyoi's father, driven mad with rage, had jumped off a building, leaving Suyoayu and her delicate, helpless mother stuck with his mountain of debt. The creditors were driving the two of them crazy. Suyoayu had no choice but to swallow her pride and beg Fu Xinian's parents for mercy. Mother Fu slapped Suyoayu hard several times. You have the nerve to beg for mercy? My unborn grandson is gone because of you, and now my son is gone too. You say you love Xinian? Then go down and be with him. Suyoayu and her mother ran away with their tails between their legs. As they passed me, she glared at me viciously. I waved her over. She watched me warily. Bitch, what do you want now? I have a secret to tell you. I leaned in. That scallion oil pork ribs? It was made with soy sauce that got rained on at the house. Sister Jo said it was full of maggots. I had no idea. Sorry about that. Suyoayu gagged and ran off retching. I burned some joss paper for Fu Xinian, picking the 10 million yuan notes. You gave me 10 million. Consider this me paying you back double. Take good care of our little one. Don't let anyone bully him. Teach him to be a good ghost and to reincarnate into a nice family next life, with a dad who loves him. I brushed the dust off my clothes and stood up. Alright, that's enough. I have packages to pick up. The most profound warning of this story is that we should never humble ourselves and obey blindly in intimate relationships, nor pin all hopes of life on others' affection. The heroine once regarded her husband as her lifelong destination, eagerly expecting to save his life with the umbilical cord blood of their unborn child. Yet what she received was his betrayal and calculation. To please his white moonlight, he did not haze. Etate to trick the heroine into having an abortion, treating her sincerity and sacrifices as nothing. After waking up to the truth, the heroine resolutely cut her losses, collected evidence to secure due compensation, and completely freed herself from the wrong relationship. As for the husband who disregarded sincerity and trampled on feelings, he eventually lost his health, career, and everything, ending up in a miserable fate. It tells us, never waste yourself on unworthy people. Being sober, independent and cutting losses in time is the greatest responsibility for your own life.